Being in the limelight isn't always what it's cracked up to be. Some celebs would much rather leave the Hollywood lifestyle behind and live regular, ordinary lives away from the glitz and glamour. Can you believe that some stars have actually turned their backs on the industry just to work regular jobs? Stay tuned to find out which celebs have said goodbye to Hollywood and hello to a normal life away from fame. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and please give this video a big thumbs up. Now, are you ready to see which 10 celebs gave up fame to work normal jobs? Keep watching to see what the rapper Vanilla Ice is doing these days. You'll be completely shocked. Karyn Parsons. You remember Karyn Parsons, right? She played the ditzy yet fashionable Hilary Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show ran from 1990 to 1996. Many people assumed Karyn would be a permanent fixture in Hollywood after the program came to the end. But the actress had different plans for her life, and they had nothing to do with being in the spotlight. Even though she grew up in the Los Angeles area, she made the decision to pack up and move to a farm in Massachusetts with her husband and her brand new baby. But she still kept in contact with many of her industry friends, and those connections helped her develop a project that she holds dear to her heart. Karyn always had the idea to create a series of children's books based on African American history, and soon enough, her dream came to life. First, she enlisted the help of her mother-in-law, who was an artist. Together, they created books that are now used as teaching tools in many schools. Her idea later transitioned into short films, and she called up her old co-star Will Smith, as well as the actress Queen Latifah, to help her produce 2 short children's movies. Kirk Cameron. From 1985 through 1992, Kirk Cameron played the character Mike Seaver on Growing Pains. The show was very popular back in the day because it centered around wholesome family fun. When the series was canceled, Kirk didn't just immediately turn his back on the industry. He still appeared in small roles here and there, and he even had his own self-titled series. Kirk was labeled the industry's heartthrob, and thousands of adoring fans had his posters plastered on their bedroom walls. But being a teenage heartthrob wasn't Kirk's calling in life. He was an atheist in his teenage years, but that all changed when he turned 17. The family of his former girlfriend introduced him to Christianity, and Kirk later described having a life-changing encounter with Jesus. It was at that moment that he decided to devote his entire life to being a born-again Christian. He started an organization called the Way of the Master. The company inspires and teaches Christianity through its website and television show. He has also produced many short films that center around Christianity. For those who think Kirk will make his way back into mainstream Hollywood one day, they shouldn't hold their breath. When he's not busy spreading the word of Christianity, he's working on the organization he started with his wife called Firefly Foundation. The company sends terminally ill children and their families on a week-long, all-expense-paid retreat. Darin Noah Smith. If you've ever caught a rerun of the 90s sitcom Home Improvement, you probably remember this actor's face. His name is Darin Noah Smith, and he played the character Mark Taylor on the series. He was just 7 years old when he was hired for the show. For 8 seasons, his life revolved around filming, rehearsing lines, and hanging out with his co-stars. When the show ended, Darin was 15 years old, and he found it difficult to transition into other roles. While his co-stars all moved on and experienced success in the industry, Darin was lost and had no direction. He later decided to enroll at the University of Southern California's film school with hopes of becoming a director. While on campus, he fell in love with a woman who was 15 years older than him. They got married and they began a vegan restaurant. After he and his wife divorced, Darin still didn't find his way back to his Hollywood roots. Instead, he took a job as a sailboat captain in California, became a volunteer, and created a floating art gallery in his free time. He's more than content with living his life away from fame, and he has no interest in ever being an actor again. MC Hammer. In 1991, MC Hammer had a net worth of $33 million, but that all changed in the blink of an eye. The Oakland rapper was forced to file for bankruptcy in 1996 after racking up $13 million in debt. The rapper was usually seen with a massive entourage of friends, acquaintances, and family members. They all had specific jobs, and all 200 of them were on the rapper's payroll. This was surely one of the reasons why he drove himself into debt. Despite his financial issues, the rapper is still considered an iconic artist in the music industry. When his song You Can't Touch This comes on the radio, you can't help but want to throw on a pair of baggy pants and bust out with your 90s dance moves. Even though Hammer could revamp his music career at any time, he's decided to be a businessman instead. He has started a bunch of different ventures that keep him busy. He describes himself as a super geek, and he's a huge fan of technology. He works 10 to 12 hours a day on his iPad case collection. He also works as an advisor and a consultant, but that's that's not all. Hammer's also an ordained minister who made official the wedding of the Motley Crue's frontman, Vince Neil, and child actor Corey Feldman. Chris Owen. Chris Owens has a face that's hard to forget. The actor made appearances in many memorable films, including Can't Hardly Wait and She's All That and National Lampoon's Van Wilder. But what he's best known for is his portrayal of the Sherminator in the American Pie movie series. He played the character Chuck Sherman, a huge nerd with a head full of greasy hair. But the Sherminator definitely had a way with the ladies. Since his days in American Pie, Chris has appeared in a few low-budget films, but the pay hasn't been enough for him to live comfortably and pay the bills. Chris didn't want to leave fame behind completely, but he didn't really have a choice. Like most actors and actresses, he picked up a side job in Los Angeles. When he's not going on auditions, he's waiting tables at a sushi restaurant in Los Angeles. Just check out this photo a patron of the restaurant took of Chris while he was on the job. We're sure he gets recognized by people all the time, and they all probably wonder why in the world he's waiting tables instead of hitting up the red carpet. In an interview, Chris said he loves acting, but his normal job as a waiter gives him the financial support he needs. Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal was the star of many popular films, including Above the Law and Under Siege. The martial arts expert captivated moviegoers in these action-packed films with his high-flying stunts. But until recently, many people were unaware that Steven had traded in his acting career for a job in law enforcement. He worked as an unpaid reserve deputy in a Louisiana sheriff's department beginning in the mid-'80s. Once the cat was out of the bag, he agreed to have cameras follow him. He was filmed while giving support to a local law enforcement agency after the destructive Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. He was a little hesitant about letting people into that side of his life. He didn't want everyone to think he was involved in law enforcement only to get attention and notoriety. But instead, people were shocked to see the other side of the actor who worked 5-day shifts, chasing criminals, making arrests, and breaking up fights. Can you imagine getting pulled over by Steven? Would you ask him for his autograph? Mike Maronna. In 1991, Mike Maronna starred in the hit Nickelodeon show The Adventures of Pete and Pete. He was just 12 years old at the time the first minute-long episode aired. Surprised by how popular the mini-shows were, Nickelodeon turned it into a half-hour series that lasted for 3 seasons. Mike played the character Big Pete alongside Danny Tamborelli, who played the character Little Pete. They took viewers along as they went on a series of wacky adventures. The comedy show had children and adults cracking up for hours, and it's still considered to be one of Nickelodeon's most classic shows. After the program came to an end, Mike would take the time to appear at reunion conventions to sign autographs for his adoring fans. But his days in front of the camera were coming to an end. He headed off to college in New York and studied theater arts and film. During that time, he appeared in several independent films, but in 2007, he made a career move that shocked everyone. He jumped behind the cameras and became an electrician for many popular television shows and movies. He also has a podcast with the actor who played Little Pete called The Adventures of Danny and Mike. Jack Gleeson. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, we're sure you remember Jack Gleeson. He played the character King Joffrey Baratheon on the HBO series. Many young actors would do anything to be a part of such a popular television program, but Jack didn't particularly love his time in the limelight. He had always made it known that acting wasn't his true passion, and he had plans on retiring from the entertainment industry after season 4 of Game of Thrones. When asked why he was leaving his acting career behind, Jack said he had been in the industry since the age of 8. Over time, he stopped enjoying it when it became something he had to do to make a living. He also said he didn't love the lifestyle that came along with being a successful actor on a hit television show. So he bid farewell to the series and to the industry. He had plans on attending Dublin's Trinity College to focus on studying theology and philosophy. As for his new job, he spends a lot of time working with a non-profit organization called Goal. The agency helps homeless citizens in Haiti who have been displaced since the 2010 devastating earthquakes. Angus T Jones. From 2003 until 2015, Angus T Jones played the role of Jack Harper in the series 2.5 Men. Angus worked alongside big names in the entertainment industry, including Charlie Sheen and Ashton Kutcher. Even though he was making more than $300,000 per episode, Angus shocked us all by going on a rant about the series. While he was still a part of the cast, he gave an interview to Forerunner Christian Church and called the show filth. He also urged viewers to stop watching watching the program. His words weren't really a surprise to those who knew him well. Angus had recently become very religious, and he didn't think he could continue on with his religion and be on the hit television show at the same time. Well, the show eventually came to an end, so things worked out for Angus in the long run. But considering how he felt about working on the TV series, we wouldn't be surprised if he never auditioned for a primetime role ever again. These days, Angus works alongside P. Diddy's son, Justin Combs, in a company called Tonight. Instead of acting in front of cameras, Angus spends his time working a typical office job for the entertainment and event planning company. Vanilla Ice. One of the most popular songs to dominate the airwaves in the 90s was Vanilla Ice's tune, Ice Ice Baby. The song debuted in 1990, and it launched the rapper's career in ways he could have never believed. His success gave him the opportunity to travel all over the world and rub elbows with Hollywood's elite. He even had a brief relationship with the singer Madonna. But just like most things in the music industry, Ice's fame didn't last long. After about a year, his hit song was no longer in rotation on radio stations, and his music video didn't get as much play on television. He tried to reinvent himself in his music several times, but it was hard for him to capture music lovers' attention the way he did with Ice Ice Baby. Eventually, Ice knew it was time to switch careers. He dabbled in reality TV here and there, and he even made a brief appearance on Dancing with the Stars, but he found out his true passion was in the construction industry. He later became obsessed with remodeling and flipping houses, and he shared his passion with the world on the DIY Network's program, The Vanilla Ice Project.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and be sure to check out our friends at The Trendy.
Which of these celebs' ordinary jobs shocked you the most? React in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd love to see more just like it, check out our